Good afternoon, friends and ecosystem partners. Let me begin by congratulating Task, Mr. Srikanth, Captain Bobby, and other team members for designing this very very useful intervention. This will add to the basket of similar interventions that our government has introduced over the last 2-3 years, and many of whom have already started giving very encouraging initial results. Today, the importance of this kind of a program becomes even more in the current COVID scenario. In fact, just a couple of weeks ago, the World Economic Forum has brought out a very detailed publication which talks about the future of jobs. And I recall seeing a similar report which was brought out by NASSCOM on the future of skills. So if you read these two reports together, the future of jobs and the future of skills, these two are very insightful in about the ways in which all of us will be conducting our lives over the next, let us say, decade or so, even more perhaps. Now, if you look at the future of jobs, there is a very obvious and a very evident trend happening all across the world, which shows that to come out of this pandemic-induced losses and downturns, etc., digitalization is going to play a very important role. And it is also predicted, of course, digitalization gives opportunities for creating some kind of jobs, but many other kinds of conventional jobs will also have to be sacrificed because of the fact that digitalization will make those jobs redundant, and some element of resource optimization, resource efficiency will also be given lots of importance by corporates. And this particular phenomena, digitalization, cuts across sectors of economies, geography, scale. So whether you are a large firm in the US or a mid-scale firm in China or a small company in India, digitalization is going to take you further. And if you choose not to digitalize, then your end will happen sooner than later. So that is a very important analysis about the future of jobs. Of course, new jobs are getting created. Not to say that there will be no jobs at all. New kind of jobs, new kind of skills will be required. But one other, if you read between the lines of the World Economic Forum report, it also indicates that while there will be fewer number of jobs, there will be lots of competition for those kind of jobs. Of course, these jobs will be high paying, but they'll be extremely in demand, and not everyone can aspire for those kind of jobs. Now, this always puts into, makes us do some kind of a reality check. And one reality check is about the hundreds and thousands of students in a state like Telangana or any other state in our country who are getting educated in a rural context. Their engineering colleges or their professional colleges are not in big cities like Hyderabad, and many of them are quite remote, as a matter of fact, very rural. And obviously, if you are remote and rural, you will not be having the wherewithal to attract the best quality faculty, and therefore the teaching learning process will not be on par with, let us say, an institution which is similarly located in Hyderabad. So given these kind of disadvantages, and given the fact that there will be a tremendous competition and pressure on the limited number of jobs that are available, do the students who come out of rural colleges, what kind of chance do they have realistically to kind of access those kind of jobs? So this is one part of the story. The second part of the story, which you see in the NASSCOM report on future of skills, etc., and anecdotally also we know about it, is about the kind of skills which will be in premium. Now, it is well known that when this lockdown started, the IT companies also faced lots of challenges while they were permitted to work from home. But it is not so easy just to transition from office to home. I mean, it requires lots of physical effort. It requires lots of hardships. You have to shift all the hardware. You have to load the software in that hardware. You have to get approvals. And remember, in the early stages of lockdown, the streets were very heavily patrolled and policed, and there were lots of restrictions. So in that backdrop, if companies were still able to get their employees start working from home efficiently, they had to thank some number of members of their team who not necessarily were the most brilliant coders or software developers or programmers. Most of the people who today stand out in these companies are the ordinary guys, but they took responsibility that since the company requires help at this point in time, I will come up, I will stand up, I have a car, load some 20 laptops in my car, I will go all over the city and distribute and all. They need not have done it. I mean, they're not the laptop distributors of their company, but they realize that the company requires this kind of a help, and therefore they volunteered and all that. So if you read the future of skills kind of things also, report also, it is these kind of skills which I call human skills, which will be more important. I mean, the human skills of kind of standing up, of taking responsibility, of going beyond the call of your duty, of empathizing with what exactly is required, and being a team player. These kind of things will be much more valued than your technical skills. I mean, not to say that technical skills won't be valued at all, but given two people having similar kind of technical skills, those who are stronger in people skills will be much more valued. So if you look at all these together, the future of jobs report, the future of skills report, the reality checks that we need to make in our own Telangana context, the rural context, etc., etc., I feel that most of our rural folks, the students who are in studying in rural colleges, they will perhaps be better off if they try their hand at becoming an entrepreneur. I mean, this again is not to discourage anyone who has ambitions to become a salaried employee in any company, etc. You can continue to try your luck there as well. And not to say that no one will succeed. I'm confident that many of you will succeed. But having a shot at entrepreneurship seems to be an equally lucrative opportunity. First of all, the new world, the post-COVID world also is throwing up amazing amount of entrepreneurial opportunities, be it in the area of health, be it in the area of education, be it in the area of public delivery of public services, and so many other things. And as I mentioned, the human skills or the people skills in the students who are in the rural areas, who are studying in a smaller college, etc., my intuitive feeling is that they have more of it because their world is less competitive, their world is more kind of accommodative, more adaptive, and therefore in a natural way also they get more chances to sharpen these kind of skills as compared to their urban counterparts who are in a more rat race kind of a scenario, more competitive. Everyone is trying to think of self-preservation and self-interest, and therefore you fail to hone and develop these kind of people skills. But we all know that while it is very easy to say that, okay, you try your hand at entrepreneurship, it is a very complicated task. I mean, hundreds of people, thousands of people try to become entrepreneurs and fail also spectacularly. Of course, many of them who have the right kind of perspective, they don't look at these failures as failures, but they look at these as learning opportunities and get back on their feet. But nevertheless, we know that particularly in the last decade or so, the science and art of entrepreneurship has advanced phenomenally. And if we are able to put our students, the potential entrepreneurs, through a structured program, definitely this is going to help them enormously. The way to figure out what line of activity they choose, which particular problem to solve, how to create a differentiator amongst the various others who are also trying to solve a similar problem, how to convert your idea into a product or a solution, how to take it to the market. I mean, there's lots of advancement of knowledge in all these things. And if we are able to catch potential students from rural colleges and help them figure all these things out through a very structured program, there'll be, I mean, there's no substitute for that kind of thing. So I'm confident that TASC will be able to offer this kind of structured entrepreneurship programs. While we are targeting the students, let us also target the faculty members in these colleges, because TASC, at whatever best intentions we have, we will still remain an external force. But in order to achieve sustainability, we should also ensure that in every college that we touch, we are able to pick up some pick out some very kind of dynamic faculty members who have a kind of a positive mindset about entrepreneurship, etc. Preferably someone who has himself or herself dabbled in some forms of entrepreneurship, and who will be able to give a very credible kind of personal self-example before other students. So if we are able to create resources, permanent resources in the colleges, and then supplement through our tasks team and tasks external facilitators, and eventually take the help of all our ecosystem partners who are all located in Hyderabad to create a bridge between their aspirations and what can be really achieved by them. This will be a very fantastic program, and this will eventually become a very role model program also. Many other initiatives of the government which have been rolled out in the past few months, past few years, and which are planned for the coming future. All of these are also very well aligned with what you are planning. So since you are also a member of the ecosystem here, please stay connected with what is already happening by someone else and what is also planned to happen in future, so that you remain aligned and synergize the best of these possibilities also. So once again, my good wishes to all of you, and look forward to hearing other speakers to understand their views also. Thank you very much.